Welcome back. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant telling Fox News chief correspondent Trey Yingst that everything is on the table as Israel weighs options to respond to Iran's unprecedented attack last week. Meanwhile, former President Trump is slamming President Biden's comments last week, where Biden opposed Israel attacking Iran's nuclear sites. Watch this.
I think he's got that one wrong. Isn't that what you're supposed to hit? The answer should have been hit the nuclear first and worry about the rest later.
Joining me now is Georgia Congressman Richard McCormick, a member of the House Foreign Affairs, Armed Services, and Science, Space, and Technology Committee. He's also the Republican Study Committee. He's also part of the GOP Doctors Caucus. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here.
Good to see you too.
Where are you on this in terms of what Israel should be considering in its retaliation efforts against Iran?
These people understand nothing but strength. It reminds me a lot of when Libya was acting up and Reagan hit him hard, and then he subdued himself. He was on his best behavior. Iran doesn't understand appeasement. That's what's been happening during this entire administration since they came in, basically lifting sanctions, giving them back money that has been frozen, that has been used against us. We've had Americans die from weapons made in Iran. We've had ships, naval ships from the United States attack from weapons produced in Iran. We have all of our enemies being supplied by them. They are a bad actor. Quite frankly, I cannot believe we haven't gone after their weapons production in serious ways. They need to smack down. And quite frankly, it appalls me that we're essentially waiting for them to become a nuclear power when we won't be able to act appropriately. They need to be taken out immediately. This regime is absolutely evil.
And this is exactly what Reza Pahlavi discussed with me yesterday, pointing back to bad policy from the Biden-Harris administration for appeasing Iran in the first place. Watch this.
Because the $100+ billion that the regime had access to a couple years ago, closing into what happened and ultimately led to empowering it to support its proxies, including Hezbollah and Hamas, of course, didn't come from nowhere. If those oil sanctions were imposed, that would be $100 billion less for the regime to spend.
Is that the way you see it? Because the White House keeps telling us, well, we've been tough on Iran. We never lifted the sanctions. But if they didn't lift the sanctions and if they actually just allowed Iran to blow off the sanctions, that's how the $100 billion happened. I mean, how did they get $100 billion to support the proxies?
Exactly. This is the same as we saw in Obama's administration when they're basically paying off countries who are bad actors. These countries don't understand that this is absolutely the weakness. The weakness is what causes war. The weakness is what causes countries to act out. And quite frankly, this is what China's paying attention to when they're looking at Taiwan. This is what Russia's paying attention to that made them invade Ukraine. Weakness always results in war.
Well, you make a good point about China, because I'm going to talk with Gordon Chang about this. Do you believe China is also behind Iran, supporting Iran's efforts?
You know, I don't have enough information to speak intelligently on this. What I do know is Iran is absolutely behind all of our enemies, whether it be Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, Russia, China. They are bad actors everywhere around the world. And because we are standing by waiting essentially for them to become a nuclear power, I think we're encouraging the worst sort of scenario into the future. And this is a typical of the Biden administration, weakness and appeasement that results in more and more bad actors.
Well, and it goes beyond Israel. I mean, Vice President Kamala Harris is facing criticism this morning from angry Americans because she's now pledging $157 million to send to Lebanon at the same time that residents of North Carolina are struggling to recover from Hurricane Helen. Harris posted this on X. I am concerned about the well-being of civilians suffering in Lebanon. The United States will provide $157 million in additional assistance to the people of Lebanon for essential needs such as food, shelter, water, protection, and sanitation. Meanwhile, FEMA is apparently out of money. They are reportedly abandoning a devastated North Carolina town because they allegedly were not allowed to drive around a road closed sign. One resident saying nobody's been bringing in supplies except civilians. I spoke with Tulsi Gabbard yesterday on the response. She's been on the ground in North Carolina and Georgia. Here's what she said.
The sad thing is, Maria, you know, I look back to what happened in Maui during the wake of the tragic historic fires there and the many layers of failures that came from FEMA. And I'm seeing the exact same thing play out here today. While Vice President Harris and Joe Biden claim to be doing all they can and providing all the resources possible, FEMA is out on the ground, they say. But when you go out into these rural communities, they have yet to see anyone with a FEMA jacket on knocking on their door saying, how can we help you?
So, Congressman, how would you assess the response to the American citizens of North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida after Hurricane Helen devastated those communities?
Well, being a guy from Georgia, obviously my district didn't hit very hard, but a lot of districts in Georgia and other states got hit extremely hard. And the thing that is frustrating is that these people use regulation to stand behind to not do their jobs. Typical of government, typical of the left, they let a rule get in the way of doing the right thing. And I've always said in the military, never let a rule make you stupid. And the fact that they're running out of money when they've spent on everything but what they're supposed to spend on, including illegal immigrants, people who came here against the law, who are now being supported by our dollars, and I'm talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. This is egregious. This is why they ran out of money. This is why they keep on spending on the wrong things, and America gets left in the dirt.
Well, Karine Jean-Pierre basically laid it all out a couple of years ago and told us what they were doing with FEMA money. Now, this morning, the White House is denying that they actually used FEMA money and they cleaned out the whole FEMA emergency fund. That's why they're running out of money, because they sent billions of dollars to house and care for illegal migrants. So the White House, I mean, you know, last week, DHS Secretary, and I know you and your colleagues, House Republicans, are demanding answers from DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas on FEMA redirecting billions of aid to illegal migrants. FEMA is denying it. But we looked at the past comments from this administration and found White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre back in 2022 laying it all out that emergency money is going to be used for migrants. Watch this.
FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants. We'll continue to do what we can as a federal government to support these cities as we rebuild our asylum processing system after it was gutted by the Trump administration.
I mean, what a joke. September 1st, 2022, she lays it all out, how they're using emergency money from FEMA to help the illegal migrants, and she's absolutely cleaned it out. Now, FEMA is running out of money, and we got another hurricane on the way, Congressman. Is this a dereliction of duty?
Oh, and by the way, this absolutely, and this is why we called Mayorkas to the carpet. This is the unbelievable thing about the Democrats. They never want accountability. Well, if not from FEMA, where did this money come from? Where did all this magic money come from that would result in such a horrible outcome? I just don't understand what they think they're doing when they take money from one program and put it into another illegally. They're essentially robbing us of our own money that we could be using on Americans to spend on illegal invaders. And quite frankly, when he calls them undocumented migrants, it's a misnomer. They're not undocumented. They're very well documented because the record number of border agents he put down there at the border to process these people.
Well, Congressman, we got to jump, but real quick on Alejandro Mayorkas. I know the House already moved to impeach Mayorkas. Is there anything else you can do? Not only has he failed with the wide open border, he's cleaned out the FEMA money, and he's sitting atop the Secret Service, which had epic failures protecting President Trump.
We absolutely need scalps. I hope we find some way, if any way, to punish these people for what they've done to rob the American people. Hopefully this November is a first step in the right direction when we take back the Senate and take back the White House.
Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching your work. Richard McCormick joining us this morning.